Welcome everybody to the Walla Walla Valley Real Estate Update for August 2020. I'm Doug Simcock with Windermere Real Estate. 2.86, that's the interest rate that Fannie Mae reported as the average interest rate that was available to borrowers this last week, 2.86%. To give you a little perspective, let's look at the interest rates, the average rate for the 70s. It was 8.86%. For those of you that bought a home in the 70s. In the 80s, 12.7. You can see the 90s there, the 2000s. 2010 through 2019, the average is actually 4.09. So interest rates have really gone down. The chief economist at Freddie Mac says mortgage rates have hit another record low due to a late summer slowdown in the economic recovery. These low rates have ignited robust purchase demand activity, which is up 25% from a year ago and has been growing at double-digit rates for 4 consecutive months. However, heading into the fall, it will be difficult to sustain the growth momentum in purchases because of the lack of supply, and that's already exhibiting a constraint on sales activity. So we're going to look at Walla Walla numbers, but that's certainly true for our market. We have low supply, and so we've had new listings. This again is a national number, but you'll see it's true for Walla Walla. Lots of new listings actually are coming on the market, but when we report the inventory, the numbers are actually going down because inventory is not hanging out. New listings that come on are immediately being purchased and leaving the market, so our inventory numbers are very low. And just wanted to share one other thing from Realtor.com on a national level. This is tracking 4 components across the nation: demand, supply, price, and time on market. And they've created this market recovery index. And it starts pre-pandemic and with a baseline of February 1. And as you can see, as we in March went into the pandemic, the index fell. And then from May to present time, it's been rebounding and recovering, and we're now ahead slightly of the pre-pandemic levels. So that's a little, big picture. Let's look at Walla Walla and what's happening here in our local market. And so these stats are through the end of August 2020. So August saw 65 homes close. And that was down from the 80 that closed in July, so down from the previous month, and down a bit from the number of homes that closed in August of the previous year. Still, if you want, for perspective, year to date, if you total all the homes that have closed this year against the number of homes that closed during the first 8 months of last year, we're actually still 2.5% within last year's pace. And that's even after the pandemic. So our market has been quite resilient. For August, we mentioned inventory. We ended with 191 active listings. So we're back to where we started at the beginning of the year. And so, our listing inventory is down a bit from the previous month, but down significantly from the number of listings that were available in August of 2019. This August, we're down 40%. Which means there were 129 more homes available for sale in August of 2019, a year ago. So low inventory, continues to be the story of 2020. And all this low inventory is putting upward pressure on price. There are more buyers in the market than we have sellers. That's been true all year long. And so we're experiencing lots of multiple offers. And so lots of listings end up in bidding wars. This is driving prices up. The average median sales price for August was $306,000. That's up a bit from the previous month and up 5% above the median sales price for August of 2019. So we have monthly fluctuations, but on the year, our median price for 2020 thus far is up 9% over 2019's median price. And so we've had price appreciation. So here's a few key market takeaways for August. Housing remains resilient. We're within 2.5% of last year's pace. Record-breaking mortgage rates are keeping buyers engaged in the market. There's strong buyer demand. And as we mentioned, the average interest rate was 2.86 for last week. That's so low. We have historically low inventory here in Walla Walla. That is creating continued home price appreciation. And as we mentioned, the median price is up 9% over last year thus far. And the other interesting dynamic is we have increased affordability, even with increasing prices. How can that be? Well, interest rates are so low that the cost of buying a home is counteracting the increase in prices, so that buyers actually have on average 10% more buying power right now than they did a year ago. So we actually are also seeing increased affordability. So those are your takeaways for August. Thanks for joining us for this real estate update, and we'll see you again next month.